Okay, this is Frank Hughes, and this is going to be kind of weird, but this is really important for you guys to see this and to see me. But anyway, what we're going to be talking about is I was going to tell you in terms of surface prep. I've got previous videos showing where I've stripped the wood, and then I have then using a wallpaper paste remover removed all the fuzz left over from pulling off the Tolex. So the other thing you really need to do here is that you're going to have to break down and get some Bondo and use Bondo to repair the holes. I did a little differently too. What I did, make sure I got rid of the I took measurements first of where I made a diagram and basically made measurements of where all the holes were. And then what I was going to do, I would then, rather than trying to find the holes, I would make new holes. Some things I basically went ahead and, for example, where there was a T-nut, for example, on your that hold your handles on, I went ahead and left those in place, and I can go to the back and find those, with which it should not be a problem. But here, what I had to do was, like for example, where the corners were, using Bondo, and I stress it's been recommended, and I see why. If you use a latex type wood filler, what will happen is you can possibly get it could get dissolved by the adhesive you're using. So the recommendation that I make is to go ahead and to get a regular old Bondo, general use Bondo. It's about 30 bucks a can, I think. I got mine for, actually the best price I found was from Amazon of all things. But anyway, get you a can of it and then mix it up to the instructions. It's not hard to mix, but you don't want to take your time. Then what I did, basically I puttied up all the holes that I planned on doing. I also did here, there were gouges here on the top and on the front, on the edges here, there were some looked like where gouges where it was loaded into the vehicle. And this one wasn't super beat up, but again, I'm really trying. This one's going to go back into a studio environment. It won't be effectively. It will be sitting for the, till it's at the end of time. But then the other thing I did on doing this, again, I did that and I sanded it. But respirator, you gotta have a good quality respirator. Then using a pad sander, you then basically sand it where it's all nice and level. And again, part of the problem is, especially if you go with black Tolex, anything underneath here, like if you have a hole or something, what will happen, it will show through very easily with black. Black shows everything. But I'm using a tan, and it doesn't seem to, everything looks really good. It seems to do quite well. But anyway, so I just wanted to mention, you got to get these things prepped, and Bondo is a way to actually get that done. It's very quick, it's very expedient. The only thing is, again, I really recommend you need to be outdoors with safety gear, a mask, and also eye protection. And then you can go ahead and get it all nice and sanded. Sandpaper, I started with about 100, went to 150, and I finished up at 220. Again, that was probably overkill with me, but again, I really wanted it nice and smooth and made sure everything would be, nice and properly prepared. Then the final thing here is I took a damp, not a wet, a damp rag, and I wiped the wood to remove the sanding dust. So anyway, and the other thing, make sure you keep those measurements that I've told you about where the holes are. Corners not so much, because they only go in one place. You can disregard if you wanted to, because the other thing, the newer corners I've noticed, they're not the same spacing distance. They're a little tad bigger, which is good because that covers up a multitude of sins there. But I do recommend doing it that way. It makes it a little harder, but at the same time I think you'll get a better result, because these holes are probably, this wood is not super good. It looks like it's some very low quality spruce. The top is masonite, so you really need to put him up and start all over again. Okay, well, I appreciate your time, and I hope this has been helpful. We'll continue on. The next is we're going to talk about putting an end cap on.